hate women, you hate gays, and you're racist. Of course you like Andrew Tate, you fucking scum.
So first things first, I want to make it very, very clear that
You disdain ladies, you disdain gays, and you're bigoted. Obviously you like Andrew. You filth. So priorities straight. I need to make it extremely evident that Logan Paul is totally completely an instrument of the lattice. He's a traded person with no spirit. He doesn't go to bat for anything, and he amounts to nothing. He says he gets bits of paper from Susan or whoever else letting him know what he's permitted to say on his channel to hold it. You accept that 100% in addition to the fact that I believe he's demonstrated to himself he will backpedal on any issue he can be traded to do. Logan Paul is, and I will express that here openly. Logan Paul has experienced all in all an excursion in the beyond 5.5 years figuring out how to return quickly from a huge number of debates that had him unequivocally targeted. Not very far in the past, he wound up entangled amidst the crypto zoo embarrassment, confronting a flood of analysis and kickback, including along with the remaining blend, was his obvious envy aimed at his sibling Jake, and obviously the aftermath from how he treated George Janko on the impulsive web recording. The occurrence with Janko prompted a huge fracture, provoking Janko to head out in different directions in Bido to the show anyway. Late advancements recommend that Logan Paul probably won't be excited with the way Janko has taken since their aftermath. Fundamentally, Logan appears to be bothered by Janko's choice to bring Andrew Tate onto his digital broadcast. Now, this is where the situation starts to get interesting, and the tattle gets succulent. Stay tuned until the end as we unwind the all-relevant info of why Logan Paul isn't precisely excited about Janko's new web recording visitor decision. So what precisely did Logan say regarding George that truly harmed me? Is you let me know I want a specialist since I put stock in Jesus that won't hurt. No, I didn't. I said you really want a specialist since Jesus isn't exactly doing it for you. Do I really want an advisor for then? Jesus isn't doing it for yourself, and what do I want a specialist for? I don't really accept that you're really sincerely mature. What do I really want an advisor for? To inspire you to step up in what yourself, in what classification, the capacity to understand people on a profound level close to home. Me, yes. Truly, do you feel that is something a caring person would agree to someone? I do. I love you, and I don't think Jesus is developing you such that you could be. Throughout the beyond couple of months, Logan Paul has been reliably taking swipes at Janko for his webcast and its moderately lower viewership. Pondering the excursion that has unfurled starting around 4 to 5 months prior, there has been a perceptible shortfall of direct correspondence with the crowd. In a snapshot of reflection, Logan and Mike offered their thanks for the persevering through help of their watchers, recognizing the huge job the crowd plays in the progress of their undertakings. Anyway, in the midst of this camaraderie, Logan Paul has not wondered whether or not to toss conceal at Janko for his digital recording, especially during its net stages. In spite of the general uplifting vibe, Logan's comments have shown a specific degree of disappointment with George's digital broadcast excursion. It becomes obvious that Logan is not exactly satisfied with Janko's new move of welcoming Andrew Tate onto his webcast. The explanations for Logan's discontent are to unfurl, promising a disclosure of charming subtleties. As the story unfurls, the webcast scene has seen a powerful interchange of occasions, with Janko exploring the difficulties and wins of his show. A portion of his episodes stand out an achievement, yet this one specific episode, highlighting Andrew Tate, outperformed 1 million perspectives. The good input from watchers highlights the effect of the substance, lauding George's conversational abilities and hailing the episode as a champion. Second in the podcasting domain, in the event that you don't know, Andrew Tate and Logan Paul used to have somewhat of a conflict. This was way back, even before the new digital recording episodes. Around that time, they were trading words on Twitter, causing somewhat of a mix. Quick forward to the present, and here's the scoop. Andrew Tate is as of now not in the scene, and he wound up in a Romanian prison confronting a few difficult issues. The two powerhouses, who had a past filled with not getting along and having a touch of to and fro, wound up in one more spat. Tate, who was being held in Romania on a few not ideal charges around then, chose to go after Logan Paul from in a correctional facility. He tweeted, "He even in Romanian jail." They discuss Logan Paul being a con artist. This tweet may be highlighting when Paul confronted some analysis for his NFT adventure Crypto Zoo. This new Twitter spat came just after somewhat of a strained trade between the two. It included Tate's odd case on January 8th. About being gone after by the network. This raised him eyebrows since there were reports that Tate had been to the clinic for an exam. Answering Tate's case, Paul tweeted on January 10th, "The framework is genuine. Ask you never become its objective." It's a piece muddled, assuming that Paul was talking straightforwardly to Tate, or simply offering a general remark. Tate answered on January 11th saying, "You are the grid, you are a specialist, yet the framework is breaking and presently you will follow it." Through on the costs, we're not completely certain about the setting of these posts, whether Tate thought of them from prison or use another person to tweet. The delegates for Paul and Tate's legal counselor didn't answer quickly to insiders' demands for input. This little trade is by all accounts the most recent episode in their well-established history of not appreciating both perspectives. This December, Paul reprimanded Tate as frightened and a poser on his webcast. Impulsive Paul was quite sure, saying, "I guarantee you won't hear him expressing any of the shocking stuff he was saying in the past." Paul was discussing the way in which Tate got his Twitter restored in the wake of getting suspended in 2017 for offering disputable expressions, and he's very much like, I'm on the Tate and I go, "You disdain ladies, you disdain gays, and you're bigoted. Obviously you like and you back." Accordingly, Tate tweeted on December 14th calling Paul one of the specialists of the grid stunt. He shared his considerations about Paul, saying Logan is truly a blockhead, not in any event attempting to web hamburger. He's plainly low level of intelligence. There's an explanation. Everybody snickers at him. Steroids broiled his cerebrum. The beginning of this podcasting adventure can be followed back to Logan, Paul's open joke of George when he at first left on his podcasting excursion, Logan's clear negligence for George's endeavors, and the ensuing takeoff from impulsive denoted a urgent second no. As George acquires footings with his own show, Logan's new dissatisfaction with regards to George's visitor decisions causes a commotion. Fans have communicated their help for George, referring to the new web recording, including Andrew Tate as a prominent feature. The investigation of strict viewpoints and their effect on people lives inspired an emotional response from the crowd's strangely strict contrasts assumed a critical part in George's takeoff from impulsive, where Logan's disregard towards org's convictions turned into a disputed matter. The unfurling show brings a more profound jump into the elements among Logan and George, revealing insight into their differentiating Cs. George's choice to send off his own digital broadcast arises as an essential move to have more prominent command over the substance and conversations, permitting him to dig into subjects that line up with his qualities. The difference between George's independence on his web recording and the apparent requirement on impulsive becomes obvious, indicating the basic pressures that prompted George's takeoff. The podcasting land Cape turns into a milestone for varying suppositions and the conflict of characters. The uniqueness in the treatment of George's convictions on impulsive and his newly discovered opportunity on his webcast turns into a point of convergence of conversation. The crowd's response shows an aggregate acknowledgement of George's strength in defending his convictions, and a feeling of help resound among the people who value his validness. One can't neglect the subtleties of the circumstance where Logan's simplicity in examining George's confidence on a digital broadcast flags a takeoff from the fierce methodology saw on impulsive. The investigation of strict convictions and the opportunity to communicate those convictions without dread or retaliation imprint a huge change in George's podcasting excursion as the show unfurls the result of George's takeoff from impulsive and his ensuing podcast. Sting tries leave space for hypothesis about the fate of their relationship. The feeling of harm communicated by George and the craving for distance from the circumstance indicate the intricacies hidden in their companionship, regardless of their set of experiences, tracing all the way back to the